Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith of Smith in the Black, and we forewent the weekend vid. And the reason I did that is that as you get deeper into an inside month, here's SPY, but as you get deeper into it, oftentimes things really start to dry up because both sides haven't been able to do anything. They haven't been able to take out the lows, haven't been able to take out the highs. So I was a little afraid of that. So coming in to start the week, we got a doji on the day. It is a 2-up, and I'll give you that, but you don't want to overthink things that are doing nothing. Right? So on the Tuesday, we want to see if this continues the 2-up or the 2-2 reversal back down in the SPY. So you'll hear me talk about simultaneous breaks a lot and how important they are because there wasn't much going on today. But what did happen was J Powell coming on the mic, and if you were paying attention, this was a Rev Strat 60 inside, poke up, boom, Rev Strat 60, 1, 2, 2 to the downside, and that hourly was a simultaneous break. Almost everything did that. QQQ, SPY, all that kind of stuff. But that was kind of it for the day. But you want to know that when everything is rev stratting 60 to the downside, you got an hour to go after that stuff, right? And so then you can look for, you hear me say triangle the out, right? So if you go to the 5-minute, you'll see this. Here, this was the initial drop. Then corrective activity by going 2-up, 2-up, 2-2 reversal on the 5 minutes to the downside. And that reconfirmed that rev strat, and that was a simultaneous break on the 5 minute. Everybody was doing that too. So you already had the 60 going, rev strat, 60 to the downside, simultaneous break, everything doing that. Then you wait for the corrective activity, and you have a simultaneous break on the 5 reconfirming all that, right? Very high probability that's going to work, and it certainly did. So coming into a Tuesday, we're just looking for either side of this thing. What goes on here, right? And then I'll get into some, some things that broke on the week. But like I said, don't overthink this kind of stuff when you have an inside month this deep into it. We still have just a little bit less than 2 weeks, and then it'll also be a new quarter. So it could be very interesting April, just like last April's, but or 2 Aprils ago, I should say. Anyway, QQQ here, just a 2-up doji. What do we do out of that? What do we do? Because all these 60s, after that occurred, just dried up and got 3 hours stuck in here. All right, so that needs to change. And when it does, we want to see how that affects different sectors, that whatever's going on. If you go to the Dow Jones Diamonds, more dry up, right? But here was your rev strat. 1, 2, boom. Everybody did that. So that was pretty much the play of the day. If we go to small cappers, hey, what do you know? Inside, poke up, boom, down she went. But, a little bit closer to taking the month to the upside, but you know what I'm talking about here. Let's shrink these down here. All right, so what we do have to start off the week is some inside days. Facebook, MetaBuddy, still struggling down in here, but starts off as an inside week, day, and week. How do we change that? We want that to change, but we'll start off to see what the twos look like on a Tuesday. SQ, also an inside day. Microsoft, so you got some big tech. You've got CRM, also is an inside day to start off the week. Roku. And so when you see this in tech, all these inside days on a Monday, we want to see, is there a simultaneous break in these things on a Tuesday? Do they all break in the same direction? Do some go up? Do some go down? Do they stay inside? What happens? You also got W day. Here is an inside day. And then in the financials, you got Visa and MA. Those two right there. And it's important because we know DFS had a bit of a rough day because it's still inside month to the downside. Here, barely, but it is with capital 1. All right, so we want to see how those guys play out. Also have JP Morgan. Not too exciting, but JP Morgan inside day, so doing nothing. So we'll see how those things go. We also have the opening up trades, Wynn Resorts, LVS inside, I believe RCL, Marriott. So we're always paying attention to what those guys are doing to see what's going forward. So what we do still have is CAT here. CAT took that day up, and CAT still in that month, one of the few of the proud, the 2-2 monthers to the upside. Still has some magnitude to take that out. Tells you can watch Deer and AGCO with that. If we had anything on the opening this week. XLE trying to go 222 on the week, and that would be good because you got some more magnitude up in here, and we know we've got those yearly signals in there. So you got Kinder Morgan Energy here going 2-2 on the week. You've got MRO here, the 2-2 hammer counter shooter. You've got EOG here, 2-2 reversal on the week hammer. You've got Valero and the refiners here on the 2-2, 2 down, 2 up. You've got Emerald Hess. Hits magnitude right away, 2 down, and takes all these guys out in one shot. PXD, 2 down, 2 up, so all that kind of stuff. Also some of the inflation names like Alcoa coming up, the 2 down, 2 up. SCCO and the copper here, the 2 down, 2 up. It does hit magnitude, we'll see. Some of the tech names, Apple, also going 2 down. It's green, but it was 2 down last week. Now completes these two become an outside bar of that. Now we want to see if it's strong enough to take anything else out. But that's how it starts off the week. AMD, we knew that was weak last week for a while, and then coming back up. But once again, you got a lot of conflict where you have these 2 months still inside here. It did take the inside month to the downside, but it didn't take this out, right? So we want to be very aware of this kind of stuff. So just like at the Strat Time report, where we won't have nice long red and green bars on the day. For the month, as we get later into the month, that's what we want. We just don't have a lot of that, you know. So that's why we're in and out of a lot of things as opposed to staying in there. So Spelunker gives you the Rev Strat week. It just hits magnitude. 1, 2, boom, takes these guys out. We'll see if there's anything more that comes of that. NVIDIA takes slightly out last week's highs, but you know, just kind of sitting there. So be careful there. Tesla's, and Tesla takes out last week, but this is a 3 outside week. We'll be very aware of that because I do not want to come ripping back through here. And on the month, still an inside month, so we'll be aware of that. Coop, and still Coop. We're watching this weekly here. This level here, above 101.44. I believe it got there and then it pulled back. So we want to see if it can re-break that because Coop has really gotten destroyed. And the first steps to being a good month is being a good week. So we'll see how that goes. If we go to the downside, not too much, which is somewhat of a positive for the market, but you do have Burlington Stores, 2 down, 2 up, 2 down. So these guys in trouble below 192.04. You're there right now. And SYNA, still handling inside week, but you did have a real nice Rev Strat day. 1, 2, 2, and you can see those lower lows, higher highs. And what that gives you here, if you go to the month, 2 bar inside, but this is a 3. They took out both sides. And if they're willing to do it once, they might do it twice, and they might do it 3 times. And that's what they're looking at doing here. The higher high again after the lower low. You take these 2 bars or an outside bar of that, the question is going to be weak enough to come take this kind of stuff out. But for the most part, we're stuck as an inside month, right? And a doji on the day. And that's where you really pull back and say, hold on a second, what do they really want to do? Now, the good thing is we do have these macro signals and energies. So if we go to UCO, we prefer these guys to keep coming. Let's get those energies going again because we want them to come down like this, set up, and then go to the weekly. There was your crude corrective activity, 2 down and now 2 up hammer, right? So they have our attention again. However, what we've seen is a rotation depending on how the market goes and saying, all right, we want to buy energy, but we're not going to do it when they're totally getting killed, right? When the market's getting killed. It's when it kind of softens up like today that you see them continue to roll back into those things. So that play is going to be on all year, and we just wait for that corrective activity. How's OIH looking here? Now OIH, if we can get this back above 280.14, that gets my attention, all right? How this thing go 278, just gap and sit, all right? So that's what we got on a Monday. So going forward, we're just going to play day to day, and then hopefully we get the inside month, and then that's also going to cause some quarterly stuff with continuity, and you'd have a signal on the monthly. So I know we got a couple of weeks on that, but sometimes you just got to be patient. But for tomorrow, either side of this thing gets my attention, but what you're seeing is like QQQ. They're all looking very similar to start off the week, and you already have your lower low, and now you have your higher high. Now the question is, do they expand that or drop back in? That's what we're going to find out tomorrow. All right, that's going to do it for today. I'm Rob Smith. This is Mr. Black.